Unless you live in North Korea, you're probably reliant on international trade in one way or another. Possibly the food you ate today is farmed or grown overseas. The pen you used to write the shopping list to buy the food you ate was probably manufactured overseas. Your mobile phone or laptop was almost certainly made overseas. The specific parts to that laptop were probably made in different countries. Your car will have had its parts made all over the world before being assembled. We live in a world reliant on overseas trade. But what would happen if countries decided to stop trading with each other? Would society grind to a halt? Would we all become self-sufficient within our own nations? That's what we'll find out today. On this episode of the Infographics Show, what if world trade stops? What would happen? International or world trade is the exchange of goods, capital, and services across international borders and territories. International trading accounts for a significant slice of a country's gross national product. International trade has been with us throughout history and will likely stay with us for years to come. The Silk Road, the Amber Road, the Atlantic slave trade, the British East India Company, and the scramble for Africa are all episodes in the rich history of world trade. The economic, social, and political importance of world trade has been on the rise in recent years. A world economy has formed with each trading partner contributing towards both the import and export of goods and services worldwide. So let's imagine for a moment that countries stopped trading with one another. Imagine if a country such as Iceland were to stop trading. It would have an excess of fish and not much in the way of motor vehicles or air conditioning units. Iceland would have to revert to its pre-international trade way of life. Would there be a loss of living standards? Yes, but the people of Iceland got along okay before international trade. But they would notice a huge difference in living standards if trade were to stop flowing to them. Certain countries excel in the manufacturing, the growing, the production, and the creation of certain products. Certain nations have come to be known for delivering certain services. The world of advertising and television has created a global societal phenomenon whereby we all expect to live our lives with the opportunity to each hold and own the same items. How realistic this ambition is remains to be seen. But the expectations are there. Expectations are everywhere. A family in Bhutan expects to be able to watch a Hollywood film. A businessman in Thailand expects to drive a German motor car. A family in Brazil expects to decorate their homes with furniture made in Sweden. A Malaysian restaurant serves lobster from Maine, escargot from Paris, and prawns from Phuket. The desirability of products made in other countries is driven not only by the quality of the product, but also by market forces driven by advertising. Across the world, it is widely accepted that the best timepieces are made in Switzerland, while Asia produces the world standard in rice. We like to have products shipped in from various places. But let's imagine that overnight, our financial system collapses and all countries stop trading. It is hard to imagine such an event taking place, but putting it another way, perhaps money is suddenly worthless, so there is no point in trading. Small external countries would be left to fend for themselves. Larger countries, with both supplies and the means to produce products, would be okay. But citizens would struggle to survive in those smaller, unsustainable countries and would be subject to mass migration, heading to territories where there is promise of food and goods. The self-contained countries would be in a much better position. Nations that farm their own foods and manufacture their own products would not see much change apart from the mass of immigrants attempting to enter their country. This may result in conflict and resistance, but history tells us that the mass migration is not such a tragic event. If we look at the mass migration following the Second World War or the immigration from the Middle East after the more recent conflicts, we learn that modern society can deal with such large movements of populations. The flow of people from country to country would be immense in the advent of an international trade blackout. No longer would cities be desirable places to live. People would move out into agricultural zones and settle in towns and villages. Farming would become a part of daily life, and citizens would be encouraged to learn skills such as carpentry and craftwork. No longer would people work for international business, instead they would work for the benefit of their fellow townspeople. Life would be very much like it must have been for the pioneers who first settled in the United States of America. The driving force and desirability for international products would weaken. Chinese businessmen probably wouldn't travel to Africa to purchase animal skins. American high flyers would not rush to Russia in search of caviar. Economist Raymond Vernon in the 1960s attempted to explain global trade patterns by using the product life cycle theory. When a new product is introduced to a country, a demand grows, and that demand triggers interest in other nations, which gives rise to exports. Many of the things we think we need to get along in life, we don't actually need. If a country can provide water, sanitation, food, clothing, and shelter, the rest is really just a bonus. So, what do you think would happen if world trade suddenly stopped overnight? Would Would there be mass hysteria and an outbreak of war? Or would people simply learn to cope by reverting back to their ways of life before the advent of international trade? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Also, be sure to watch our other video called Japan's Population Problem. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time!